Hello everyone, just give me a second, I will open my Coke, and shit, it's... I spilled it all over the floor. Okay, so Transformers. Transformers fell off really bad in my opinion, just like Pepsi just did on my carpet floor. And in this video I'm gonna explain why Transformers have peaked a long time ago, around 2010, and why most of the content that came afterwards is at best okay, and at worst just freaking terrible. If you enjoy, like and subscribe. Okay, I'm gonna wash Pepsi off my floor. You know, I'm still kind of surprised that relatively unknown Japanese toy collection of robots in disguise, that nobody freaking needed until the OG series came out and finally gives those toys some lore. But let's be honest, Transformers used to be a much more exciting thing. Like, when you heard the new Transformers movie came out back in 2010s, like, you were excited, I know that. Like, everyone was. Transformers were a big thing then. And okay, hold on to your dislikes. I know Transformers are still loved by a lot of people, the franchise is not dead, but let's be honest. In year around 2010, which I will establish as the year franchise has peaked with all of its material, after all, Dark of the Moon came out at the time, and this is still to this day the most successful Transformer movie. Standing on pedestal with $1.1 billion. Jesus Christ, that's so much money. Transformers Prime were actively collecting fan base on the television, like everything looked promising. But then, bruh, Robots in Disguise, freaking Cyberverse, freaking Earthspark, and don't think I forgot about live actions. Bumblebee and the Rise of the Beasts weren't that much better either. How did we even go from mature, well-written content that was collecting a lot of money, that a lot of people invested a lot of money into, this?
Everyone, look who decided to crash the party.
Oh!
Easy! Prowl is my friend.
I thought I was your friend.
Ew! Dude! What the
Yeah, ironically, Michael Bay himself started this whole mess, even though directly. Because after Amazing Trilogy that had pretty solid reviews, he for some reason decided to do Age of Extinction, which even though got a lot in the box office, mainly because they started throwing movies into Chinese theaters, and in China there's a lot of people who would want to watch those movies, since, you know, Transformers are more or less known there. But oh boy, the movie lacked in good reviews, because most of people who watched it, like, the highest reaction they had is like, yeah, it looks good, but what did we just watch? As a result, viewers were pretty disappointed, and when the next Transformers movie came out in 2017, The Last Night, nobody really wanted to see it. Because of that, the box office for The Last Night was about 600 million, and it's kinda sad because remember that previous movies were getting box offices well over $1 billion. And this is especially upsetting because The Last Night was the most expensive Transformer movie with a budget of 217 million, and that's not counting whatever was spent on promotions. And okay, I don't want to rant too much in this video about how box office is supposed to work, because technically the budget is usually listed as whatever money they spend on making the movie, not counting whatever was spent on promotion and any extra payments. To put it simply, in filming industry, people who throw money in the budget usually don't see movie as a success unless the box office tripled the budget. In addition to that, Last Night had even more of bad reviews, and even Michael Bay himself said that he didn't even want to record this movie much. My take is that most likely he was bound with a contract, and contracts usually made for several movies, so he just had to film something that would, like, spend the budget that was probably also pre-decided. So yeah, that movie was doomed from the start. Speaking of the budget, at this point in the video, I should have had a segment about all the cartoon iterations of Transformers that came out after Transformers Prime. But unfortunately, Hasbro, who produced and gave money to all of those cartoons, all of these cartoons, for some reason keeps all the information about the budget they gave a secret. So I guess I don't have a lot to say. Basically, the only other information I found is that one of the CEOs of the company said that each of those series was making less than the previous one. Something along the lines of that, but that's pretty much it. Yet, I guess Hasbro still makes those series because most likely toys they make for them still sell, more or less. So, I mean, okay, I guess it's needless to say that every one of those series not only break the already existing canon, but also have freaking lowest ratings possible, so I don't think we should talk about them. The two notable mentions I will mention is the Robots in Disguise, don't confuse with the one that came in 80s, which sucked especially because it was direct continuation of a story of Transformers Prime, which pretty much retconned whatever it could. Predacons were killed off screen. Megatron never showed up. I don't think we even know what happened to him. In addition, it just sucks as a continuation of Transformers Prime, who were not afraid to raise mature topics and show really scary scenes, like when Transformers are literally just tortured or killed on screen. To explain how childish our Robot in Disguise are is we literally have the most cliche scene possible where the good guy is captured by a bad guy, and the bad guy literally explains his whole even plan and how to stop him. And it's especially funny because that is done by Starscream. Starscream, who in that universe canonically did that to Autobots last time he captured them. And the other one, Earthspark, because that was the series that introduced Transformers who are trans.
Nightshade's pronouns are they, them.
He or she just doesn't fit who I am.
My apologies.
Okay, first of all, I want to give a golden star to whoever thought of making a transgender allegory in a cartoon that is named Transformers. Okay, that's just pure genius. But also in general, like, bruh, this is stupid. Not only because Transformers don't really have genitalia or anything, they don't mate or reproduce, so I'm not entirely sure how gender as a concept of human race can even apply to those aliens. I mean, like, it's only most obvious that all of those cartoons were made just to sell toys. I mean, it makes sense because, like, Hasbro makes them, and Hasbro make toys. But can you guys at least, like, pretend to care? Like, even the trans scene where they raise an important topic that is, like, popular right now in our society, they do it really randomly. I found that episode. I watched it. They do it really out of nowhere and then just forget about it. Oh wait, note from the editing studio, I literally forgot there was one other show. Transformers War for Cybertron. I literally forgot about it. I didn't watch it, but like I looked up reviews and reviews are like 6 out of 5. A lot of people criticize animation because apparently it was also funded by Hasbro but made by the Netflix and the Rue 30 studio, the same that created Ruby. So like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's good. Just saying. But, plot twist, we're not done with childish movies because we're gonna talk about Bumblebee Rise of the Beast, and I mean, they're not exactly childish, but okay, a lot of scenes there are really childish. And okay, right off the bat, I'm gonna say that I really like CGI. The Transformers and they'll look cool, except I don't know, models of Transformers for me feel kinda short, if that makes sense. Like, they were supposed to be taller, but they got squished in the editing software, something like that. The designs are iconic, they move a lot, there's a lot of them in the movie, like the screen time of Transformers is actually big, we're not spending too much time with humans, I would say, which is pretty cool. All fights are also really good, but everything else is kinda meh in my opinion. The plot of Bumblebee in general is kind of weird in my opinion, because the plot that Bumblebee loses his memory and acts as a human pet for a girl is kind of like, eh. And the girl, in my opinion, is not even that much likable either. For half a movie, everyone is treating her like she has such a terrible life. But like, yeah, her dad has died, her mother remarried another man, but like, they're not starving, they have a house, like, not the worst life in my opinion. Like, even when she gets a car, she demands money from her parents, like, bro, get a job. Also, the beginning of Bumblebee is straight up copied from the Transformers 1 of Michael Bay. Like, watch the hands. We also got a human who likes cars, who's not really good at school, who's an outcast, who gets a car at his birthday kind of randomly. The mechanic just sells his car even though it got out of nowhere. This car is Bumblebee, and it jumpstarts a whole events of the movie, dragging humans into the story because, well, it's connected to a Transformer. Only what's really funny for me is that freaking Sam Witwicky at least earned the car. He was like saving money, also like was getting good grades in order to get a car, like so his parents helped him to buy it. This girl just got a car randomly because it's her birthday. Like, this guy just gave a car away. The rest of the movie, yeah, just, I don't find it funny that Bumblebee acts stupid and like, oh, the human has to hide him because it's a giant alien robot who acts like a child. Like, I don't find that funny personally. The ending of the movie does save it though, and bruh, John Cena absolutely love his role in this film. Okay, Rise of the Beasts, though, in my opinion, feels a little too rushed, because we literally jumped to the final boss, and we haven't even seen Megatron in this franchise yet. Like, bruh, what kind of progression is this? We're fighting random Decepticons in Bumblebee, and Rise of the Beasts, we're fighting Unicron, literally the most strongest evil character in the verse. Also, bruh, I don't know, focusing on humans in this movie, I feel like also is a mistake. Like, you guys are fighting a Transformer size of the planet. I don't know how humans, like, what have they even forgot in this fight? So yeah, the movie is not really awful, but it feels really, really rushed. Like, the franchise should have not go there after Bumblebee. Because, yeah, those movies are entertaining as hell, like, everything on there looks cool, but we don't really know these characters. Most of the characters we see on screen, except maybe Bumblebee, are literally new. We haven't seen them in the franchise yet. Like, yeah, we know who Optimus Prime is, but every one of those, like, movies or cartoons I've mentioned trying to do slightly different take on the characters. So when the movie, out of nowhere, shoves us a bunch of human characters we don't know, a bunch of new Autobots we didn't know, a giant villain we didn't know or what he does or what he wants, this is all kinda stretched in my opinion. And in my opinion, the box office reflects that. With a budget of $200 million, the movie managed to get only $600 million in the box office. When even Bumblebee got more, when that movie cost only $100 million. And even then, I'm pretty sure most of it went to John Cena. I wanted to talk about one more Transformers movie. The one I honestly wanted to talk about the most. Transformers 1 that came out in 2024. Because that movie's finally gonna give us what all Transformers fans were asking for a long time. A backstory of Orion Pax, how he became Optimus Prime, backstory of T-16, how he became Megatron, how this whole Transformers war even started. But then, with budget about $140 million, it managed to get a small $110 million in the box office. Who knows, maybe because of the shit children's trailer that they released before that. Okay, this is not even that funny, but when I saw the trailers for the first time, I thought that would be the most childish take on Transformers prequel ever made.
Hi there, I'm B127. I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced
like, this seemed really dull with Marvel humor. Was freaking Thor voicing Optimus Prime? Like, that was such a misdirect, especially when the movie turned out way more mature and was addressing a lot of adult themes. Because Sentinel Prime, who's a villain in the movie, is probably one of the most diabolical dictators in history of the cartoons. Like, bro hit everything on the evil bingo card. He invented classism, discrimination, racism, slavery, literally stole parts of the Transformers to make them feel insecure and lower than they should be, sided with the world-conquering Quintessone, started selling resources of his own homeworld. Like, bro's pretty bad. But in my opinion, from that, there's still some issues that are born. Like, for example, the backstory of Sentinel kinda ruins Megatron, in my opinion. Because in the original, backstory of Megatron is pretty simple. He was a gladiator for a while at Kaon, was fighting until he became so popular he went political in order to change structure of the Cybertron for the better. This is where he met Orion Pax and they started to have mentor-student kind of relationship. This is where Megatron shown his true colors. He was demanding to be the next Prime, get the matrix of the leadership, and basically calling himself the savior of the Cybertron. In here, he's more of a righteous leader who decides to get revenge on Sentinel as soon as he realized he was lied to, and like, it's kinda hard to hate him because, I mean, he's pretty much right in the situation, knowing how bad Sentinel is, and because of that, his switch to the dark side looks kinda insane. Like, he did that kinda randomly. He basically just becomes the ultimate villain at the very end, kinda out of nowhere. Still, however, the scene where T-16 becomes Megatron, Optimus Prime becomes, well, I mean, Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime, those iconic scenes are done in the right way. They look awesome. So, no complaints to that. I don't think I should mention that the lore of Transformers was completely ignored. I mean, it's not that bad. After all, almost, like I said, almost all Transformers iteration trying to do something unique. But I mean, I feel like ignoring certain lore that Transformers 1 does robs us of certain moments. Like, we're not gonna see the Fallen in the series clearly because Megatron is who becomes the Fallen one, just died. The dilemma of quintessence is not gonna explored here clearly. If I remember correctly, they were originally created by one of the Primes, so we're not gonna see that here either. Everything else was great, except I'm probably just gonna get a lot of hate, but Bumblebee was not funny in that movie. Like, okay, he was funny sometimes, but most of the time, the repeating joke of Badassatron, that was not funny. Like, okay, maybe one time, I'm stretching my words here, one time it was okay. The rest of the time, I don't want to hear the joke being repeated 5 times in the whole movie. Like, it's like, repeating the same joke will not make it funnier the next time, bruh. Okay, besides that, the humor in the movie is pretty good. I mean, like I said, sometimes there's those bits of Marvel humor where the serious scene happens and it's interrupted by a punchline. I mean, like, I don't know, some people like it, I guess, but I feel like that kinda ruins the whole seriousness of a scene. And okay, I really hope that movie gathers at least slightly more money in the live streaming services. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put this movie there right now. So, we got the sequel, because I really do want to see what happens next in this franchise. It does look promising. And then finally, I hope we see another peak of Transformers. Because, I mean, so far with all the cartoons that are clearly just made only for kids and nobody else, like, at least Transformers Prime was kinda made for kids, but, like, adult people could have watched it and still be interested as well. With that, I think that is it for today. Like, subscribe, tell me in the comments if you think I said some cringe takes, I don't know, maybe I did. And see ya!